and welcome to my session, Dynamics 365 Human Resources and Power Virtual Agents. Before I start off, I want to thank Muhammad, Faisal, Kisar for organizing all the sessions and the event, and also giving me an opportunity to present here. A quick introduction about me. I'm Kamal. I work as a Dynamics 365 consultant, specialized in human resources. I'm originally from India, but I'm living in the Netherlands for a few years now. I primarily focused on Dynamics 365 human resources as a product from Microsoft, but also interested and always learning something in finance or Power Platform. And I'm kind of expanding my knowledge area into Business Central a little bit. A short disclaimer before I start off with the actual content of the session. Okay, so what I've planned for today's session is to talk a bit about human resources and also the product Dynamics 365 HR, and spend some time and understand how it kind of aligns architecturally with the rest of the business applications and Power Platform. And then jump into Power Virtual Agents, understand what they are and how they work. And the next topic is more about understanding how Power Virtual Agents really add value to human resources as a business domain, and also how it kind of works closely with Dynamics 365 human resources as a product. So that's what I have planned to start off with the first topic. Um, what we are seeing on screen now is a simple human resources process, which is, for example, if you consider the beginning of the process, we have a company called Hogwarts Manufacturing. Let's say it gets a new project to deliver a new kind of, let's assume that they have to build something new to a market, and the managers within the company identify that they don't have employees with the necessary skills to meet that demand. So then they reach out to the HR team, and HR team will go out to the market, for example, Indeed or recruitment websites like LinkedIn, etc., and conduct the recruitment processing. So once they go to the candidates and finally identify a successful candidate, then that successful candidate will be a new hire within the company, and the employee life cycle process kicks off where the employee is able to take vacation or be part of a performance management process, or let's say book their time on a daily basis or take some sickness days off if they're not feeling well, and many other things. So that's employee life cycle. And eventually the end point of any human resource process is either the employee stays within the organization and retire, or leaves the company and joins a different organization for different reasons. So this is really a very brief overview of a human resource process. Now, when we try to understand what Dynamics 365 human resource as a product is, D365 HR is a cloud-based SaaS solution, which is kind of built to connect three different experiences. So if you consider the experience of an employee, like how an employee logs into his self-service, takes some time off, etc., or how a manager kind of looks at his team and the information related to his team, and the other aspect of HR professionals having access to HR data. So the goal of the product is to really tie these three experiences together and make it as seamless as possible, and also to provide insights to HR professionals, like how many employees were hired in the last 3 months, or how many employees left the organization in the last 1 year, etc. So the KPIs that help HR teams to be part of a decision-making process and guide the company towards the future. So that is one aspect of Dynamics 365 HR. And the other aspect of Dynamics 365 HR is that it is built and continuously enhanced to seamlessly work with the other business applications in Dynamics 365 stack and also Power Platform. And also, as any other Dynamics 365 application, it works very closely with Microsoft 365 applications like Microsoft Excel. And also the goal from Microsoft is to make the experience of using Dynamics 365 HR as seamlessly as possible from an IT solution standpoint. So it is hosted on Azure, it's integrated with Azure. It works with Azure Active Directory quite well for single sign-on and other capabilities. So that's an overview of Dynamics 365 human resources. When we go a step further to understand the different areas of D365 HR, we start off with system administration, which is all about the application lifecycle management, or migrating data, or setting up SMTP servers for email notifications, etc. And we have organization administration, which really is the core of how a company functions from a legal and country standpoint. So it has capabilities to define legal entities and departments, and also has capabilities to define the jobs and position structure, to map how employees within an organization are working, or are taking on some job roles and positions that helps the organization to be successful. Then we have personal management capability, which is focused on the employee life cycle from hire to retire, basically, and it is more a functionality that is focused on HR administrators, that lets them manage the employee data and administer the data from time to time. The rest of the areas, what we have is employee development, which is focused on goals and performance management, compensation and benefits, which is focused on one second, which is focused on capturing employee fixed compensation, variable compensation, and benefits information. The key is to understand that it lets you, the application lets you manage the information in a legal and compliant way as per local requirements. Then we have employee and manager self-service, which is focused on helping employees and managers get access to key HR data of themselves and the team, so that they are empowered to do their day jobs in an efficient manner. We have some learning capabilities, which is helping HR admins capture the information about the courses and certificates that the employees have taken up, and which needs renewal in the future, for example. Then we have leave and absence, which is one of the core functionalities that has been continuously enhanced over the last one year or so. It lets us manage leave and absence information, which is more like sickness. And we have continuous enhancements coming through from release 2020 wave 1, and continues even in the current or the future release of 2021 wave 1. So that's an area which is getting better every day. The last area what I have mentioned is about reporting and analytics. So Dynamics 365 HR as a solution comes with a lot of standard reporting and analytics capabilities, which can be used from day one of the implementation, that really drives value from a HR perspective to get the data into the application and start looking at the insights that it provides. So this is really an overview of what happens, or what are the functional capabilities that Dynamics 365 Human Resources offers to the customers. When we look at how Dynamics 365 HR as an application kind of fits in with the overall Dynamics architecture, we noticed that Dynamics 365 HR is one of the finance and operations applications, which is working kind of seamlessly with the rest of the F&O applications like supply chain management, finance, or PSA. And also, on the other hand, it works quite well with the first-party customer engagement applications like commerce, sales, marketing, and customer service. And when we look at the overall architecture and Power Platform, it integrates, or it works closely with Power Platform via Microsoft Dataverse. So it kind of opens up the opportunity to work on the extensibility, or work on connecting different applications together. So that's really how Dynamics 365 HR fits in with the rest of the business application architecture. And when we go to the next topic, which kind of aligns more with today's session, is what are Power Virtual Agents? So PVA is basically a way of creating chatbots, which is nothing but creating an artificially intelligent simulated conversation. So what I mean by that is, if you consider example, for example, I'm an employee in an organization and I want to understand where to find something. So let's say I want to just ask where to find a coffee machine. So PVA lets us have artificial conversation with the chatbot and say, I can type in the question, and PVA is able to give me a response, and it feels like I'm having a conversation with a human. But in the background, Power Virtual Agents really work with two key capabilities, which is topics. So topics are more like knowledge banks that PVA uses to find answers to the questions that a person that is interacting with a chatbot is asking. And how it kind of searches through the topics is based on keywords and phrases. So it's like, if I type in HR policy, then it's a keyword that PVA can use to search for its knowledge base and give me a response that can help me, based on my question. So that's really what PVA and chatbots are all about. And when we go one step deeper to understand what exactly are the components that PVA is made of, if you look at chatbot, like I said, it has a knowledge base in the background, which is called topics, and a bunch of topics are called topics library. And there are two types of topics from a usage standpoint. So the first type is system topics. These are basically topics that are needed for a PVA to function at its core level, and they're always on when you're building a PVA. And within a topic, like I said, there are a set of trigger phases that is used to search for the questions that the user is asking, and find and also have some responses based on those questions. Lesson topics are basically like a set of books. You can add any amount of lesson topics you want. Like, you can start building a PVA today, and you say you add a lesson topic telling that if you want to find HR policy about leave, you have to go to this place, is a conversation that you want the PVA to have. Then you add a lesson topic to it, and mention the trigger phases, like HR policy is a trigger phase, and the responses go to a SharePoint and navigate through the SharePoint like this, and you will find the HR policy. So that is a response. And like I said, lesson topics are custom, and the user can add them as they want and as the PVA evolves. So you can start with, let's say, 5 lesson topics, and then you get a feedback telling that you need more information about different things on the same chatbot. Then you can add more lesson topics to it. So this is, in a way, what are the different components within PVA. Um, and when we try to connect these two worlds together as human resources and the world of Power Virtual Agents, there can be some use cases, like you can think when a new employee is joining the organization, you can have an employee buddy chatbot for new employees where they can find simple information like, where's the coffee machine, where is the restaurant, where can I find the washroom, etc. And it also can act as a human resource policy FAQ, first line support. Like, it's basically, I'm working in the company for a long time, and the policies are getting enhanced from time to time. Usually we reach out to the HR team, or we have a SharePoint where we can go and find the information. But you can imagine, if it's a huge company, then the amount of information that is available can be overwhelming to navigate through. So you can create a simple chatbot and help employees navigate through the SharePoint or through a website and find the information easily. So it's really a first line support so that the HR teams are not getting the repetitive questions about these things. So that's one of the use case that I think can be very helpful in making the HR teams more efficient and also spend their time in areas which are more critical from a policy and business standpoint. The next use case, I would say, with all the changes that we are seeing, and with COVID-19 and continuously working from home and having a lot of virtual fatigue and everything, I think one of the aspects I feel that can be helped by PVA is maybe having a chatbot that can trigger a question, response scenario where employees can come to the chatbot and just check how their mood is. So just to ask, just to say, maybe I'm getting overwhelmed at some point, and I can just open the chatbot and say I'm getting overwhelmed, and the HR team and the wellness team of our organization can give some feedback and say maybe just ask a few more questions. What is going on? Is it with the family or is it with the work? And give some suggestion telling maybe you can chat with the HR team or you can chat with your colleague to relax yourself, etc. So that's another use case. Like I said, finding out details about office locations. In case of employees moving from one location to another location on a frequent basis, we can have chatbots to help them navigate through the office premises. So these are some of the use cases I think that PVA and human resources as components come together. There can, of course, be a lot of different use cases around this. So what we will do next is go through an experience of building a very simple chatbot and try to embed it within Dynamics 365 HR. So we get both the worlds together. So we try to create a new chatbot where we add some topics to the library, create, like I said, custom topics called lesson topics, add a bunch of trigger phases and responses, and then publish the chatbot. And eventually we add the chatbot within Dynamics 365 HR so that employees are able to access the chatbot within the self-service experience. So I have a demo ready for you, and let me just start the demo. Yes. So what we are looking at now is the maker portal of Power Apps, and I'm opening the chatbot's capability and creating a new chatbot. So that kind of opens a new tab of PVA, and it loads the interface of creating a chatbot. I'm giving a name for the chatbot. We will be creating a HR policy FAQ chatbot. So the name of the chatbot is HR policy FAQ. There are different languages that are supported by PVA at the moment. So I will be creating something in English on the correct environment that I want to create the chatbot on. So at the moment it's building the framework for me to be able to add the topics or go to the authoring canvas, etc. So it takes a couple of minutes. Yes. So once the chatbot is ready to work on, it will open the authoring canvas. This is the user experience of PVA, and what I can do is I can have a look at, it's a guided learning, by the way. So when you come to the PVA creation place, you have a lot of information available, how to go about changing things or adding new things. So I'm currently looking at the greeting system topic, which has a set of trigger phases and responses related to it. And you can notice here that what we are looking at currently is the list of topics. So, and you have a bunch of lesson topics which are just given as a sample so that you can just start playing with it. So I'm switching them off. and you can see lesson 1, lesson 2. So it's just a sample so that you can work with it. And here you will be able to notice these are the system topics. So you have a greeting, you have escalation, you have a termination of the discussion, etc. So this is all already created for you, and you have a framework to work with, and you can change some of it if you need. But you can just start off and play with it and understand how to go about it. So now I'm adding a new topic, so which is about HR policy FAQ. And I'm giving a name and a description. So what I'm doing next is adding a trigger phase. So for example, when an employee comes into the chatbot, if the employee types in, I need a HR policy document, that's a trigger phase. Or somebody else may just type in HR policy, and that's also a trigger phase. And the other trigger phase can be policy document. So based on any of these trigger phases, the chatbot will route the discussion into this knowledge base. And the first response that I want to give to this person who is interacting with the chatbot is, hi, I am a HR policy chatbot, and a bit more information. I am here to help you finding the correct information. Yeah. So that's the initial response that the employee gets, and once the response is there, then I want to ask a question. So I want to ask a question: which country are you working in? So which country are you employed in? And let's say this is being built for a company which is operating in 2 different countries, Netherlands and Germany. So I'm giving those responses now. And you can see automatically it creates 2 options based on the employee's selection. It will route through one of these paths. So the first path is Netherlands, and the next question I want to ask the employee is, what HR policy document do you need? And the options can be general HR policy, or a leave policy, or a compensation policy, for example. So, and based on that, I go to different sections, and I'm doing the same thing for Germany. So I'm asking what HR policy document does the employee needs, and I've added 3 different options again in Germany, so leave, general, and compensation. And based on the response from the employee, if the employee selects compensation policy, then I can add a URL, for example, or I can direct the employee by giving a message. So I'm keeping it simple for the demo. So I'm just adding a text telling navigate to DE SharePoint and to compensation, but it can be a URL or it can be something else. And then after that, I end the conversation of the chatbot. So I add the same thing for the other options of general and leave policy in Germany, and also the same thing for Netherlands. And in the end, I'm adding a end conversation. So once I've added all this and built my chatbot, what I can do is, in the authoring canvas directly, I can start testing it. So in the place where I'm typing now, so I'm just typing in HR policy document, and automatically the chatbot will route to the lesson topic. So if you notice on this side, it's automatically routing through the path of the lesson topic that we created, and the employee selecting Netherlands and the general, and the chatbot is picking up the responses. And in the end, when the chat ends, there's a general or a standard feedback experience question that the employee can respond to, and if there's nothing else, then the employee can type no, and the conversation terminates. The next step is to publish the chatbot. So we have created the chatbot now. It's all ready to be published. And once we publish the chatbot, we can go to channels. Channels is where you find how to share this chatbot with other people. So I'm just the first option we are looking at is having a look at the chatbot on a demo website. So Microsoft by default provides an opportunity for us to have a look at the chatbot in this overview, where you can experience how the chatbot is functioning, and also share this with, let's say, for example, the initial test users, so that they can have a look at it. The other option, the goal, like I said, is to embed this experience within Dynamics 365 HR, and I'm getting the URL of the chatbot now. And I've opened Dynamics 365 HR, and I'm navigating to employee self-service. So I want to embed the chatbot to be available for an employee in employee self-service, which is where the employee comes, for example, to check his personal information or book some time off, etc. So I'm personalizing this form, and I have to add a Power App in a moment. So this is not the correct. So in a moment, yes. So I am adding an app, and there is I'm selecting the place where I want to embed the app, and there's an option called embed a website, and I'm giving a name for the website, which is HR Policy FAQ, and I just paste the URL of the chatbot that we created now. And you can see it's already available for the employees, and the employee can start interacting with it. So, and it works as seamlessly as we saw in the authoring canvas or in the demo website. So it's just that easy. So I'm just showing a quick conversation how an employee can interact with this chatbot within the self-service experience. So this really is what I had planned on the demo, and to show how to create a chatbot and how it kind of comes into employee experience on Dynamics 365 Human Resources. So if you go to the next topic that I have, is to look at how PVA can help employee experience. So basically the advantages of using PVA in some of these scenarios. So the first one is the Power Virtual Agent experience can be used on phones and tablets or desktop seamlessly. So in case of an employee traveling from one place to another place or working in multiple locations, it can be easy to have this accessible on a phone to search for basic information about the location. It's accessible all the time if an employee is working in shift, or if the HR team is not available, but chatbot will be able to give a basic direction to things. Multiple languages are supported at the moment, so there are 15 available and 5 in preview. 15 generally available and 5 in preview. Bot can route the information to HR teams when not answered, so you can have instead of ending the conversation, you can trigger the chatbot to connect to a HR team member to continue the discussion, or in any other business case scenario. There are multiple publishing options. Like you saw, we had a look at the demo website and also embedded the chatbot within Dynamics 365 HR. Also, there are capabilities of embedding the chatbot within Teams experience or publishing it to Facebook, for example, etc. So that's really quite strong in terms of what you can achieve with it. And HR teams can analyze the bot performance and engagements of, let's say, for example, if you create a chatbot, then you want to see how it's performing in terms of whether it is solving the queries or is it engaging enough for employees to have a conversation, etc. So it's more like a agile principle where you can analyze and improve your chatbot, and build more knowledge behind it. So that's some of the advantages of how using a PVA can help employee experience. The next topic, what I wanted to highlight, is what we saw is a very basic experience of how easy it is to create a chatbot and embed it in Dynamics 365 HR. But there's a lot behind it, and also you can make it more sophisticated by using different enhanced authoring capabilities. Like, for example, you can connect the conversation into a Power Automate flow, or add end user authentication where you're first authenticating who is interacting with the chatbot and then talking or giving more information, or creating topics from my existing support content. So if you have a website which has all the support content, then there is a way to have an easy starting point of using the content and having a chatbot based on that, or using variables to store responses from the people who are interacting with the chatbot, or have natural language processing, with the functionality of using entities and slot filling. So there's a lot of content, and there's a lot of people who have created amazing content in the community. I follow Tomash, who's created a lot of content around this, and a lot of other community members have use cases and scenarios and how easy it is to go about these things. So have a look at the community and just explore it. It's nice. So that brings to the end of my session. I think I'm right on time, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
perfectly fine. Just a minute ahead for the
yes.
question
So
part.
yes, perfect. So if there's anything, please let me
Yeah,
know.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Regarding the Power Virtual Agent, this is really interesting things to see, the HR getting collaboration with using a Power Virtual Agent. But how about searching a document? Mostly when we are trying to find a specific document, is there some wildcard mask or something we can do? The virtual agent can adopt to that because the documents naming and everything and versioning change a lot. I'm just maybe
Yeah.
it's a lot I'm thinking right now, but
Ah,
is there something available from that perspective?
so you mean making it more dynamic. So it's not
Exactly,
linking to the
yeah.
specific document, but it's more like a
Document.
variable which, yeah. So I think how I see it is, let's say with the capability of connecting a PVA into a Power Automate flow, which is which can do all of this. I think we can route the conversation into a Power Automate flow to get the latest version of the document, or make it more dynamic within Power Automate and then give a response back. I think that's how I look at it, from how we can achieve this.
Perfect. Thank you. So I think thank you for your time again, Kamal. It
Yeah,
was nice listening to you, and we will be continuing this discussion again. I think I have
yeah,
some more queries around it, but due to time constraint, I won't be going into much into that. But thanks again, especially over the weekend, spending some time with us. So
no problem.
have a
It was
nice
a
day.
pleasure. Thanks a lot for having me, and connect with me if you have any other questions. I'm mostly active on LinkedIn, but just reach out, and happy to
Definitely,
have a discussion all the time. Bye.
definitely. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.